To get started, I am washing the beans, and this beans is going to serve we are going to serve this as breakfast, and this is also what we are going to serve our guests for Eid. So we've started cooking for as early as 5:30 a.m. thereabouts in the morning. So I'm just trying to get the beans nice and clean, and then I'll set it on fire to cook very well. The beans has to be super soft and mushy, okay, because it is EwaAgonyin. Okay. Right now the beans is clean. I've added water to cook with it. So this is we are putting it on a charcoal stove, and the charcoals are burning brightly. So now it's time to put our cleaned beans on fire, and we are just going to wait for it until it is very soft. These beans cooked for about 2 hours 30 minutes thereabouts. So while it's cooking, we are going to be doing some other things. So in this pot of boiling water, I am adding this dried tatashe. The tatashe is real bell pepper. Okay, so I'm adding the dry tatashe so that it will be soft and ready to blend, and that's what we are going to be using for the sauce that we are going to eat with our beans. Also, I'm adding dry chili pepper also. After like 15 minutes, the pepper is soft already. I also have another pot of boiled dry pepper, and that's where I'm going to add it to the pepper mix that we are going to use to cook stew and jollof rice. So both peppers are soft now, and they are ready to be taken off the boiled water. So now I'm just prepping the onions that we are going to blend with the two pepper. So we have two pepper mixes. We have the one we are going to eat with the beans, and we have the regular pepper mix that we are going to use to cook stew and also cook rice. Okay. So the pepper in the grey bucket contains scotch bonnet pepper, some of the other dry pepper that I soaked, onions, ginger, garlic, tomatoes, and all of that. And that's the one we are using for stew and jollof rice, while the one in the yellow bucket is the one for the sauce that we are going to eat with the beans. The rice is cooking nicely. It still needs plenty water. Okay, so I'm just adding water to it so that it can continue cooking. At this point in time, the beans is very soft, but the water content is still a little bit much. So I'm just trying to mash it, and also the bottom of the pot is beginning to burn. So I'm just stirring so that it does not have that burnt taste. It does not keep burning and all of that. So I'll just keep stirring for a while the water inside the water content of the pot evaporates, reduces. Okay, so I'll just keep stirring. So I left the pot for a while, came back to continue stirring, and I did that for a couple of times until the water reduced significantly. And the more it cooks, the mashier or mushier, or how will I put it, the beans become. So now I'm just smashing it to the side of the pot so that I get the perfect consistency, and our beans is ready. So now I'm cutting the pomo or wele or cow skin or whatever you like to call it. So I'm cutting it into smaller pieces. It has been pre-cleaned already. It has been cleaned already. So I'm just cutting it into smaller pieces, and we are going to put this in the stew of the beans. So now we are going to fry the sauce or stew. I don't know which one it is. Ghanaians have yapped us Nigerians that we don't know the difference between soup, stew, and sauce. And truly, I don't know. I think this is sauce, sha. So now we want to make the sauce for the beans. So I've poured my palm oil, and I'll allow it to heat up before I add the blended pepper mix. On the other side of the stove top, I'm pouring into a heated pan vegetable oil, and on this side I'm going to be frying plantains so that everything will just come together at once. So the oil is hot now. I'm adding my onions. I'm going to fry that for a while until the onions becomes brown, not burnt but brown. So then I'll also add the pomo. I like to add my pomo at this stage. Not, you don't necessarily have to do that, it's just my preference. I add my pomo inside the hot oil so that it stays longer inside the pot. So that's how I do it, and I like it that way. It's not as if there's an explanation for it or anything, but I feel like the pomo comes out better when I do it like this. So you can try it and let me know what you think about it. Okay. Now the oil is hot. I kind of missed the footage of where I'm putting in the plantains. So when the oil is hot enough, I put in the plantain, and on the other side the onions and the momo is also frying. Now the onions are browned beautifully, and I'm just adding my pepper mix into the hot oil for it to fry. I'm going to mix the pepper mix into the oil properly so that the pepper is not just sitting, because the pepper is very thick. So it's not just sitting inside the hot oil. You have to mix it into the oil. I'm done putting all the quantity of pepper I want to fry inside the pot, inside the hot oil. So now we are going to wait for it to fry. Now, one thing stood out to me during this process. The pot I'm using is very inappropriate for the quantity of sauce I'm trying to make. So it did not allow the sauce to it didn't allow the sauce to fry beautifully the way I wanted it to. But it's still good because it turned out great. So we move. Now it's time to add the spices. I have chicken stock powder, I have bouillon cube, which is Maggi, and I have salt. And I'm just going to dump everything inside and mix. So the thing with EwaAgonyin sauce is it does not require too much You don't need to start putting curry, put thyme, put this, put that. You can if you want, and it will still be delicious. Okay. And especially because I'm using palm oil, if I'm using vegetable oil, I'm definitely going to add curry and thyme. It is going to be very, very sweet, very, very delicious. But because I'm using palm oil, I decided to not add all those things. And also, I'm just adding dry, soaked dry fish and some grilled sardines. So I'll just let that sit in the stew, in the sauce, for a few minutes because the fish can scatter anytime. So I'll just allow it to sit inside the stew for very few minutes, then I'll bring them outside. But I'll leave the pomo inside the stew, and at this point the stew is ready. Okay, let's move on. So the next thing that I will be doing is burning this chicken that has been defeathered. Now I'm not actually burning it, I'm just trying to remove the excess air that is remaining on the chicken. So I'm just moving it around, letting the heat touch it a little bit to burn off those excess air. So, and after I'm done with that, we cut it up, and after cutting it up, we are going to just cook it. So the chicken has been cut into pieces. I'm just putting everything inside the pot. And I also have a few turkey pieces that I'm going to also add into the pot. And I'm going to just add spices. I'm not adding water yet. I'll add chicken stock powder, maggi, and curry. Then onions. I'll mix it together, cover it, and allow it to steam for like 10 minutes before I add water. It's time to fry the chicken. The using the same oil that I used to fry the plantain, I just allow the oil to heat up very well, and I start dropping my chicken and turkey pieces inside for it to fry beautifully. Now I want to start cooking the jollof rice. So I just used a tiny onion to check if the hot oil is hot enough. That was what I was doing before. So now when I've confirmed that the oil is very hot, I just dumped in all the onions inside. So I'm going to wait for that to caramelize a little bit, then add my tomato paste inside. So I'm going to allow the tomato paste to fry to become crumbly. Please don't mind what I'm doing here. I'm Nigerian and nothing was good to waste. Okay. So I'm just going to mix. And I'm going to fry the tomato paste until it is crumbly. Now the tomato paste is beautifully fried. I'm just going to add my pepper mix. And the quantity of pepper I'm adding will depend on the quantity of rice I'm cooking. So I'm not going to add so much because the rice I want to cook is not that much. So I'll fry the stew until it is ready and oil is floating on the top. Then I'll add my rice. While the jollof rice is cooking, I'll be getting started on the fried rice. So the oil inside the pot is hot enough already. So I'll be dropping my washed rice. This rice has been washed and drained. You have to drain your rice if you want to get the perfect texture for your fried rice. Drain it very well. So I've drained this and I've poured it inside the oil. I'm adding curry and I'm just going to mix and fry a little bit before I add water and other spices like curry. Like, I'm sorry, I've added curry. I might add a little bit more curry. Then thyme, maggi, chicken stock powder, and all of that, salt and all of that things I would like to add to the rice. So it is at this point that I remember that I've now added the chicken stock that we got from boiling our chicken and turkey earlier. So, and I could not add so much to both rice because I've already added a lot of things. So, and the stock water is very salty. So I don't want to spoil the rice, both the jollof rice and the fried rice. I just added a little bit stock to both of them just to enhance their flavor. So at this point, both rice are cooked. So I just want to start frying the vegetables for the fried rice. So inside the white pot, I put in oil and I realized that the oil was a bit too much. Not bad, but it was a little bit much. So I've added onions inside the hot oil. I'll just wait for that to fry, and inside the oil I'm going to add chicken stock powder just to make the onion taste better. Now I'm adding the other veggies. I'm adding carrots, green beans, and lastly I'm going to add the yellow one, the sweet corn. I'm going to add the sweet corn. So when I've fried everything very well, I'll now incorporate the rice into the vegetable mix. At this point, I also added a little bit Maggi just to make it sweeter, spice it up a little bit. You have to be very careful with spices because our rice is already like super spiced, sweet already. So we don't want to overdo the vegetables on. So you have to be very light-handed with spices at this point, and that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm going to add my yellow corn, my sweet corn rather. I don't know why I keep saying yellow. I'm going to add my sweet corn to that now. So what's left for the fried rice now is to incorporate the rice and the veggies together. So I'm just going to be pouring the rice, scooping the rice bit by bit into the veggies mixture on low heat. You don't want to overcook your vegetables, and mix everything together until it is well incorporated. Okay. Done. So now we are done with fried rice and we are done with jollof rice. So the next thing I'll be showing now is our dinner. And because everybody has eaten and everybody is full, not so many people opted for dinner. Only three people opted to have dinner. So I'm just making this small ewedu and small amala. And the stew we are supposed to cook in the afternoon, since nobody is eating amala in the afternoon, I made it now. You remember that I did not fry all the chicken and turkey. I left some pieces boiled. I don't know if I showed that on camera. I don't think I showed that on camera, but I did not fry everything. I left a couple of pieces of chicken and turkey unfried. So I'm going to be making stew with those pieces now. So this is our dinner, sha. The lady is already cooking. I didn't show the when I was putting the ewedu inside the hot or water. But the thing is, I already have one video on my channel showing you how to cook ewedu, and even all these videos that I've made today that's not already on my channel, like the EwaAgonyin, the fried rice and the jollof rice, I'm still going to make videos on them, like full tutorials. This video is not for tutorial purpose, really. It's just to show you like a mini vlog of how Eid went down on Eid day. So I'm still going to make like full tutorials on each one of the dishes. Okay, so the ewedu is soft now. I already put up the fire, so, or the heat. I keep saying fire like a bush girl, but I'm a bush girl. So I've put up the heat so that it does not boil over. It's wanted to boil over before, so I put up the heat. So I'm making the stew on one side. Right now the ewedu, I've blended it so it's smoother. If you look at the ewedu closely, you see that it's very smooth. Also, I've added the chicken and turkey pieces that is remaining from the afternoon. I poured them inside the stew, and I'm going to leave the stew to continue cooking until all the oils flows to the top. That is when I am sure that my stew is ready. So now back to the ewedu. I'm going to add locust bean and salt, maggi and melon. Okay, so I switched on the stove back, and I'm putting the melon paste inside the ewedu, and on the other side the stew also is cooking. So I'm just going to mix the melon pastes. I've rinsed out the container in which I mixed the melon paste into the ewedu, so I'm just mixing it in. After mixing it in, I will add maggi, salt and locust bean, and that's it for the ewedu. Also, the stew also is done cooking at this point. If you can see, the oil has floated to the top, and the chicken and turkey pieces inside are well incorporated also. So we are done. The only thing that is remaining now is to make the amala. we are making the amala. I'm making the amala. So I've poured in the amala powder, in which we Yorubas we call it elubo. I've poured the elubo inside the hot water and I'm mixing it. And one thing about me is I don't do those stovetop shenanigans that people do. Like, I simply do not have the arm for it. So what I simply do is that I'll switch off the heat, bring the amala down, stir it very well on ground with all my energy. If I do it on the stove top, I feel like it does not come out as smooth as I would if I do it like that. So I'll sit down on a stool, put the amala on the ground, hold it with my leg and stir. That's how I get smooth amala. If I do it on the stove top like most people do, I simply do not have let me say I simply do not have enough energy to pull that through. So I don't do that. So that's what I do. I stir it very well on the ground and make sure it is smooth before I put it back on fire. So now, putting it back on fire, I will add hot water, then cover it and allow it to steam for about 5 minutes. Then after it has steamed for 5 minutes, I'll just stir everything together and make sure that it is very smooth before I serve. So let me know how you make your amala in the comment section. Are you team stir it all through on the stove top, or are you team put it on the ground, stir it before you return it back to the stove top? Let me know in the comment section, okay? And that's about it for this video. If you have watched to this point of the video, omo, you are the real MVP. Thank you so much. And as I said, all the foods that are in this video that are not already on my channel, I'm going to make videos individually about them. So this is just like a cooking vlog kind of. Thank you so much for staying to the end of this video, and make sure you subscribe, make sure you share, make sure you like, make sure you comment before you go. Thank you very much. So I'll see you in my next video. Stay till the end, please. Stay till the end. Okay, thank you. Bye. Bye 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 bye. I'm not a good singer. I'm sorry, guys. I would have sing beautifully for you, but manage me like this. So that's it. Bye.